Hello everybody, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. My name is Adam Bergman and I'm going to make you a really cool video comparing Algorand, Hedera, and Ripple. I've been doing some research about Ripple recently because a lot of my subscribers have been asking me. I would like to call myself an expert in Algorand. I would like to call myself very good when it comes to Hedera right now, and I would like to say that I am just a novice when it comes to Ripple, but I probably already know more than most of the experts in Ripple community. So I never understood what is so special about Ripple, why do people like Ripple so much, and I said, hey, why don't I do the research? And a lot of people said, Adam, can you do the Berg research? And yes, I am doing the Berg research. I got a really dope video that I actually hired editors for. I wanted to test out a few editors. That's gonna come out next week. In today's video, I wanna explain to you, in my personal opinion, the main differences between Hedera, Algorand, and Ripple. Ripple was built specifically in mind to compete with SWIFT. SWIFT is the international money transfers. SWIFT is cross-border payments right now. SWIFT accounts for $6 trillion worth of transactions per day. However, SWIFT is slow. Sometimes it takes a couple of days, and SWIFT is very, very expensive because there's always this currency exchanges, right, in between. Ripple comes in, and they're invented in 2012. Originally, they weren't called Ripple. They changed the name, but that's for a different video. And they want to directly compete with SWIFT. And they come up with something called RippleNet. And RippleNet is broken down into three things. They have XCurrent, XRapid, and XVIA. XCurrent is process real-time payments. XRapid is source on-demand liquidity. And XVIA is send global payments with a single integration. Very, very simple. And because they're specifically built in mind to compete with SWIFT, this is the high appeal for everybody. This is like the Ripple Army, XRP Army. This is what they're talking about. And Ripple does have partnerships with over 100 different institutions, large banks, things like that, including Santander, I believe Bank of America, and things like that. So that's Ripple, and that's their whole shtick. Hedera has a governing council. The governing council is some of the biggest corporations, institutions, and universities in the world. They have a maximum of 39 council members. Currently, they have 26 council members actually on deck. Hedera's phrase is hello future. And Hedera actually is not a blockchain, it's called a DAG. And they use a consensus called the Hedera hashgraph. This is what allows them to be so fast and so efficient. Hedera is not specifically built for commercial use. Hedera is pushed heavily towards commercial use, but it has a very robust retail presence as well. This is my take on it personally. The Hedera Governing Council, some people think that it's bad. I think it's extremely good, and most people in the Hedera community obviously think that it's good, because the Hedera Governing Council takes a proof of concept into proof of action. So they take a concept, and the action is actually using it by governing council members, and then it becomes a norm. And then the theory is that everyone's going to use it. So Ripple, specifically for cross-border payments. Hedera is for commercial use, not specific for cross-border payments, although it does that as well and can do that. It's more of a commercial grade, and it has a retail presence. Algorand is absolutely for commercial as well, with a very heavy retail presence as well. Algorand does not have a governing council. Algorand has a consensus called pure proof of stake. Pure proof of stake means if you have one Algorand, you have one vote. And the whole shtick with Algorand is anybody that has a basic Raspberry computer, which is like the basic computer that you can have, can run a consensus node. So on the consensus level, Algorand is super decentralized. One Algorand, one vote. No need to have a crazy node, a crazy setup. Hedera, possible 39 governing council members. And Ripple, they have, I believe, last time I checked, like 115 nodes, because Ripple does a bunch of different things. But their trusted main nodes is 35 nodes. For Ripple, those 35 nodes is the nodes that reach consensus. For Ripple to reach consensus, 80% of the 35 nodes need to agree on a transaction. If that happens, the transaction hits the system. Ripple, Hedera, and Algorand all are either ISO 222 compatible or ISO 222 fluent. ISO 222 is a brand new language. That is the monetary language. That SWIFT payments that I was talking about is changing to a language called ISO 222. It's already in integration. By November 2025, the world is going to be using this language. If you are not a blockchain or a DLT that's using ISO 222, well, then you're not going to be able to speak the monetary language. The blockchains, in my opinion, the DLTs, in my opinion, that can speak ISO 222, either fluent or compatible, and I'll talk about that in just a moment, are the ones that are serious about commercial use. Now, commercial can be broken down into, again, huge corporations, huge universities, huge commerce, or banks. And Ripple is specifically for banks. Not that they can't do other stuff, but they're focusing on banks. Hedera is focusing on commercial, and they have a retail presence. And Algorand is more like both retail and commercial. Does that make sense? Like, one is specifically for banks and they have a little bit of everything else. Hedera is more focused on commercial, but they also have a lot of retail. And Algorand, in my personal opinion, is for both commercial and retail. Okay, and I'm not saying which one is better or for worse, but this is what I'm starting to realize. There's different flavors for everybody, different courses for different horses. All three of these are really fast. They all reach consensus in 3 to 5 seconds. Whether it's final or not, or hits the chain, by the time you can see it's validated, 3 to 5 seconds. They all have high throughput for transactions per second. Right now, Hedera has 10,000. Algorand 6,000, Ripple 1,500. At the end of the day, none of that is needed right now. But to give you an understanding, Visa, American Express, MasterCard, they all have around 1,500 to 1,800 transactions per second. That's how much they have. Right now, all three chains put together are only running like 50 to 100 transactions per second on a good day. So it doesn't really make a difference. And in the future, they can all expand. But I'll get into that in just a moment. Ripple does not focus on smart contracts. It has them, and it's starting to integrate EVM, which is Ethereum Virtual Machine. However, it does not have a robust ecosystem. What do I mean? If you go to DeFi Llama, Total Value Lock, things like that, their DeFi ecosystem is not robust. They have it, they're building it, you can do NFTs and tokens, but it's not like a thing. It's not a huge thing. Algorand has an extremely robust DeFi ecosystem. They've been building like crazy. Literally in the last year, Algorand built 900 dApps. Actually, like 980 or something, like right below 1,000 dApps. It's huge, and it's growing every single day because it's super cheap, fast, and efficient to use. And again, they're focusing, in my opinion, like 50-50. Huge retail and huge commercial. Hedera also has a robust ecosystem for retail and dApps and DeFi. However, it's just starting to come alive. In a year from now, I picture Hedera also having like 1,000 dApps. And then Algorand's gonna have even more at that point. Ripple is not gonna have that, in my personal opinion. Again, I'm not saying which one is better or worse. They all have their own highlights. I'm just trying to explain, especially for my Algorand community and my Hedera community, I said that I was gonna explain the concept of Ripple because I didn't understand it myself. The more you dig into Ripple, that's the whole idea behind Ripple. Ripple is competing with Swift. Ripple has a bunch of commercial grade bank partnerships. They're waiting for the SEC to stop the lawsuit. And then the theory is Ripple is absolutely going to get adopted by all huge commercial banks. Now, Hedera also works with banks. And Algorand also works with banks. Ripple has a CBDC program. Hedera has a CBDC program, and Algorand has a CBDC program. Each of them work with different jurisdictions, cities, states, countries, whatever. They all do similar things in certain categories and completely different things in other categories. ISO 222 compatible. From my understanding, and everything is just rumors for ISO 222 compatible. And besides for these three, there's also XDC, you have Quant, you have XLM. The actual original founder of Ripple is the founder of Stellar. He left Ripple like 3 years later, sold all of his Ripple basically, and started Stellar project. But I'll talk about that in a different video. I'm also gonna add XDC. I'm also gonna add Quant if you guys like this, if you guys appreciate it. So it's rumored that Ripple is ISO 222 fluent. Now that's my own word, fluent, which means that everything built on Ripple is ISO 222. It speaks that language because it's specifically built for banks. While Hedera and Algorand give you ISO 222 compatible, which means that the dApps and applications and the ecosystem that's built on top of these DLTs are ISO 222 compatible if you so choose. You can build in ISO 222 language so that you can work with the banks. Remember when I said that Ripple is specifically for big banks? Hedera and Algorand is for big banks, commercial, so on and so forth, but also they have a very robust ecosystem when it comes to retail. At the end of the day, all three are really fast, really cheap, really energy efficient. They all have something that they do. They also have maximum supplies. Ripple's maximum supply, 100 billion. Currently, 50 billion is in the ecosystem and 50 billion will still be released. Hedera, 50 billion maximum. Currently, 25 billion is in the ecosystem, 25 billion has to be released. Algorand, 10 billion maximum supply. Currently around 7.1 billion is released and 2.9 billion still needs to be released by 2030. Guys, I hope you guys like this type of comparison. I hope this broke this down a little bit for you guys. And there's a lot of information for me to add in one video, and I'll be happy to add to it. I need to know that you guys like this. And for me to know that you guys like this, I need you guys to give me the likes, the shares, subscribes, so that YouTube actually sees that people enjoy these type of videos. In the future, I hope that I can add other projects to do these little comparisons. And I do got a dope Ripple video that's coming out next week. I'm hiring 2 editors and I'm gonna compare the both videos to see which one we like better as a community. I am also gonna be changing my studio in the next 2 weeks or so. So you're gonna see a completely different studio and lighting and professionalism and things like that. I'm gonna try to step my game up. Also, I do have a Substack. I am doing a poker tournament next week on Thursday. Sign up to my Substack down below. I will be giving out 500 Algorand, 2,000 Hedera HBAR, all coming from me out of my own pocket. The tournament is gonna be next Thursday. Sign up to my Substack down below. I send out newsletters once a week, every single Thursday. Yesterday's newsletter actually came out and it explains what's happening in the tournament. So sign up down below. There's gonna be a link down below. Sign up and read the article. It's gonna give you the sign-in link and everything that you need for the tournament. Totally free, you don't gotta do anything, everything paid by me. Thank you and have a great weekend.